Salutations! Thank you for lending an ear to The Voice of the Times for Thursday, December 16, 2021. For today's editorial, Sign of the Times. Several days have passed since the incredible outbreak of violent tornadoes in the central United States, and victims and observers alike are still trying to make sense of it all. Even for a couple of us here in our offices who have spent some years in America's so-called Tornado Alley, last weekend's storms were almost beyond imagining. What is more frightening, even watching the news from the relative safety of halfway around the world, is the realization that the spectacular weather event was a demonstration of things to come. Tornadoes are caused by violent storms that form when a mass of cold, dry air collides with warm, moist air. They can occur anywhere in the world at any time of the year if the conditions are right, but happen more in the central US than everywhere else in the world combined. There, in a wide swath of country stretching from the Rocky Mountains to the Appalachian Mountains and the Gulf of Mexico to the Great Lakes, conditions for strong storms and tornadoes are frequently present, often enough that the region is known as Tornado Alley. The tornado season, during which as many as 2,000 tornadoes can be generated in an average year, typically runs from March to September. Although, just as with our typhoon season here, memorable storms do sometimes occur at other times. Tornadoes in December are extraordinarily rare and are only caused by extremely unusual weather conditions. December tornadoes of the ferocity experienced last weekend are completely unprecedented. How unprecedented? According to reports, there were at least 50 and as many as 120 tornadoes spawned by a single storm, including one tornado that shattered a 100-year-old record for longevity, speed, and distance traveled, covering 400 kilometers and crossing parts of 4 states in about 4 hours. That single tornado caused between 70 and 100 deaths and virtually destroyed the western Kentucky town of Mayfield, as well as smaller towns in Arkansas, Tennessee, and Missouri. Other tornadoes caused several damage and casualties elsewhere, including one in Edwardsville, Illinois, which is near St. Louis, Missouri, which leveled an Amazon warehouse and killed at least 6 people working inside at the time. While we in the Philippines may certainly watch the news of the event with astonished curiosity and perhaps spare some prayers for the hundreds of thousands of Americans affected by it just 2 weeks before Christmas, we might well also wonder what relevance a weather catastrophe on the other side of the world has for us here. It is quite simply another stark reminder of how badly the Earth's climate has been thrown out of balance by climate change. Climate change did not, of course, directly cause last weekend's tornadoes, any more than it caused the extraordinary heat waves that affected the western US and Canada earlier in the year, or unprecedented floods in Europe, or rain at the highest and ordinarily coldest part of Greenland. What climate change has done, however, is to alter the normal patterns of weather around the world in ways that we are struggling to understand and are hardly prepared to face. What we think of as historically plausible worst-case scenarios, such as typhoons of rare power or unusually dry or wet seasons, are quickly becoming probable, caused by shifting climatic patterns that we are not yet able to predict. The tornado outbreak in the US and other extreme weather events that have occurred throughout this year do provide us with some lessons, even if they occurred in far-off places under different circumstances than we might experience here. First, it is imperative that our capabilities for studying, monitoring, and advising the public about weather conditions be improved. The US has the best weather observation, prediction, and warning systems in the world, and they demonstrated their value by saving untold thousands of lives by alerting people in the path of the storms. Second, our resources and abilities to respond to weather-related disasters, while those have always been a priority, need to be increased as well. That includes not just emergency first response that is usually the responsibility of government, but also the private sector, utility and other service providers, other businesses, and even individual households. And that's the editorial for Thursday, December 16, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to its digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.